thanks for watching or listening to VIP Boxing's Bell to Bell podcast, episode 111. You're either watching us on YouTube or listening on iTunes, where we get some great listening figures, or Spotify. Thanks very much, whichever platform you're using. I'm Steve Lillis, and with me, as usual, my co-host, John Evans. Are you okay, John?
I'm not bad, see. I'm not as good as you by the look of it, though. You caught the sun there in Spain, haven't you?
Still in Spain, mate. I don't know when I'm coming back, and that's the truth. I don't know when I'm going to come back. I've been here a week now, so we'll see. Might never come back. Anyway, tonight's special guest is our second in consecutive weeks from Liverpool. Last week it was Paul Edwards, trainer and former British flyweight champion. This week, a boxer who isn't scared of boxing home or away, puts it on the line. Brian Phillips. Brian, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me.
Well, just to back up what I said there about your fight home or away, you last year a fight of the year contender. You went down the M62 to Oldham. I think it was in Oldham, and fought Michael Gomez and lost a waiver thin decision, one of the fights of the year. And you kicked off 2023 not the way you wanted to, but on the road again on Saturday night on the big bill on Sky on the Boxer, where you come unstuck against Rhys Edwards, who's a very good prospect. I understand.
Yeah, he was.
About boxing home or away, or are you going to go back home now?
I'm going to go back home. I just like boxing. A throwback fighter. Just box, fight and box. Enjoy it.
Brian, you know, that's 2 or 3 now. Gomez was my fight of the year last year. I was there in Oldham. It was unbelievable. And if Rhys Edwards had been a 10-rounder, it would have been the same again. Are you worried about people just starting to think, oh, Brian's an exciting opponent, let's get him in to make our kid look good? Or have you got to be selfish a little bit and think about your own career?
I think I really don't know. What I think. I think I can beat them all, and I enjoy boxing. So I'm there to win. I'm there to give it my all, and I'm there for him. I'm there for fun. The fun for the fans and fun for myself.
It was good. I read something. Was it supposed to be an 8-rounder? Was there some confusion about the rounds on Saturday night?
No confusion. It was an 8-rounder. It was bang on 8 rounds all the way for 5 weeks before. It was 8 rounds until 5 minutes before, and they said they've got no TV space. 6-rounder. So whether they got me, I don't know, but it is what it is.
So have you spoke to Steve Wood, and what's the plans now? You mentioned you're going home. You're going to go on the Liverpool show in a few months, or?
Yeah, I think, to be honest, I've got a title fight off the back of that loss. That doesn't usually happen. So it must have been a good fight, a competitive fight. The board have put me forward, title fight next. And I think it's going to be a home back to Liverpool. Bring the title back home to Liverpool.
Oh, well, you certainly deserve something at home, I'm sure. John might agree there. John doesn't agree with us much on here. He's fun them sort of fellas, but I think he does it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. Like I say, if people listening to this haven't seen the Gomez fight, I'm sure there's a video around of it somewhere now, and
it's
just fantastic. There's no commentary, is it? But the crowd was that good. It's a brilliant half hour to spend watching.
I don't think you need any commentary, you know?
No, it's fantastic. Watch it if you're listening to this.
Yeah. Well, what we do in this podcast, Brian, we talk 3 minutes each subject. At the end of 3 minutes, what happens, John? Show us your bell.
Comes out, Brian.
He rings that, and we have to, even if we're mid-sentence, we have to stop talking or he gets angry.
Okay, I like it.
No, John doesn't get angry. He's one of the best, mate. One of the best. Anyway, John, you're going to start us off this week with round 1.
Yeah, something I saw online today with Lewis Van Poetsch. You know, he's been a well-known name around the circuit for years, hasn't he? One of the journeymen we love. He's retired from boxing now, but he's starting his referee training. And he's starting on the Joshua Franklin bill, so he'll have someone on the outside scoring for him, won't he? He won't be allowed to judge the fights, but he's getting his foot in the door there. And I think that's really good. I think we need some new referees. We need some new judges. And if we can get people who've been in the ring and actually experience what it's like, you know, all the better. Hopefully, it's a way for retired fighters to stay in the sport they'll benefit from it, but I think the sport will benefit from it by getting proper decisions and proper refereeing. Not that I'm slagging the referees off. I think the vast majority of them are good, but it can only improve if those people have been there and done it.
Yeah, 100%. I think you've got to box. You don't have to box, but it's better if you box to referee. If you was learning how to drive a car, and someone who's never drove a car was trying to teach you, would you be safe? Would you get in and feel safe? I don't think so.
You know what? I agree. You know what? When you said this, I was trying to think of the referees who are box professionally that I could think of. And as you say, hopefully it's the start of things to come. Michael Alexander had a lot of professional fights, mainly on the road. Kevin McIntyre, the Scottish referee, I think he might have fought for titles. I think Kevin did.
Yeah.
And I think there's a new referee from Liverpool. Is it David Mulholland? Certainly boxed as an amateur, and I think he had a couple of professional fights. I can't think of many more on the circuit who box professionally. So hopefully it's the start of things to come. So I've complained on this pod before about it not being enough referees. And I know Mike Stafford, the former cruiserweight, but he was a cruiserweight boxer. He's been an inspector with the board for a year or so, and he's hoping to go down that path. But I think the more fighters, and it also, not just about being referee, it keeps them in the game. Too many good fighters who would be good referees, good coaches, good managers are lost to the game when they retire. And I always think that's wrong. It isn't like football where the PFA are looking after you and putting you on courses for coaching, managing, media work. We need boxers to stay in the game.
Not long left, Brian, but is it something you do, Brian?
Yeah, I thought about that. Dave Mulholland, he's just turned over as a referee, and he boxed. I remember him boxing, but he gave the away fighter a decision not long ago, and he got a lot of stick. So maybe that's why the referees aren't as brave. I think you've got to be brave and put your foot down and see what. Forget about home or away fighters, and just give the right decision.
A great topic that, John, you started us off on tonight. And Brian, your first topic, you want to talk about the camp and the hype around boxing, I think. You're going to tell us.
Yeah.
Fire away.
Yeah, so the start of camp and the hype, and when you first come in, when you first announce a fight and you've got a good fight, you put your post on social media and everyone jumps on, and it's like, I can't wait to go to the fight. Once the camp starts getting started and it gets hard and you've got to be up early, no one's with you, no one's around you. The tickets slow down, everything slows down, just until it gets to 3 days before and you're struggling for your tickets, and everyone jumps on and you're back on the milk's back in. Everyone wants a sip of the cornflakes and the fresh milk.
Yeah, we're going to talk about ticket selling later on, but tell us about camp and the hype around it, and is it excitement that becomes lonely?
Yeah, well, I think it is a lonely it's a lonely sport, and it's a lonely camp, but fighters wouldn't have it any other way. It's you've got to be selfish, you've got to be lonely, you've got to go to them dark places, and they wouldn't have it any other way, I don't think.
Do you like when it gets announced, you talk about your fight, you finally sign the contract, do you like an opponent who gives you something to think about, Brian, or do you like to just be on your own thinking about the fight, or do you like someone who's giving you a bit of shit every now and then? Do you like something to get your teeth into?
You know what, I like concentrating on yourself. Just concentrate on yourself, work hard. Through camp you get more confident as the camp goes on. You're doing more rounds, you're training harder, you're getting stronger, your weight's coming down, and the confidence is going right up to the roof. So it doesn't matter who you're fighting or who you're boxing. As long as you know you're in good shape, you're ready to go, there is no opponent.
Yeah. What's Oh, hang on. Sorry, the timer just went off then. No, it's still got timer. What's when you go back into a gym after a fight like Gomez or Rhys, where you've just come up a little bit short, but you're getting plenty of pats on the back and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Do you carry confidence in, or are you thinking, oh shit, why can't I get over the line? How does your mind work, Brian?
Sometimes you need a little bit of luck in it, and I just haven't had the luck. So you've just got to roll with the shots and roll with the punches and go again. Don't beat yourself up. You've just been in a fight. You don't want to beat yourself up more. So
I was talking to
you've
Steve
just got to pat
earlier
yourself
on,
on the back.
Brian, and he asked him who was on the pod. I said it was you because he'd mentioned you as a really good talker a week or two ago to come on. And
yeah,
he said to me, Brian, he goes, I think he's to be the one that boxes forever and ever.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I was going to retire yesterday, and then I got a phone call, and they dragged me back in for the title fight. They just won't let me leave. Every time I go to leave, I get dragged back in.
Brilliant. Round 3. This sounds a bit daft for this topic. Can a loss be a win? I'm talking about Andrew Cain and Baluta at the weekend. Absolute. If you have a what?
We're still on.
Yeah.
It's sensational fight. I thought Cain did enough, but I don't think it was the robbery a lot of people made out. But the thing is, could that loss be better than having that first, when it looked like he was going to win in the first round? Could that loss long term be better for him than another first round blowout? Because he's got into that match, and since he boxed Steve Jackson 2 years ago, he's had 2 one-round blowouts that lasted 2.5 minutes between them, and a 6-round stoppage. That's Andrew Cain. Now, if he'd gone and got that, the referee had stopped that in the first round with another blast out. By going that 10 rounds and getting that decision against him, long term, that will be better than another first round blast out, in my opinion. As daft as it sounds, you might disagree as a boxer, Brian. I'm not.
No, I don't disagree. Andrew Cain, I know him personally. He won't let that eat him up. He'll take that, and he'll want to come back, and he'll want to do it all again. He'll want to correct his mistakes, and he either learned on the job, right in the mix, what it takes to do the 10 rounds. Then 1 round blast out, you learn nothing. It is brilliant, but you're learning nothing. You've been to deep waters. Once you've been to deep waters, you know you can swim. You can swim in any depth. So it'll be good for him.
It's not. You can't teach that, can you, Brian? You can't go into a fight knowing that when it gets like that, because it was a hard, horrible fight, wasn't it? And Cain didn't flinch, did he? And now he can put a big tick next to that box. I believe he had a broken hand from the first round as well. He carried that power. He carried that ambition. I'm with you, Steve. It was an unbelievable fight. And if he'd got rid of Baluta in the first round, you can't step back then, can you? You're in at that title level against hard lads. And I just think it was a big win for Cain, really.
You look at that Andrew Cain in that fight. He took on that guy much earlier in his career than established world level fighters have. Yeah. Remarkable. And I just think he'll be so much better. And I'll have everything I've got on him in the rematch.
I think Cain is a brilliant fighter. He can do everything. He can do it all. And highly respect Cain. And I back him myself 100% in the rematch. And he probably blast him out in the first round in the rematch.
Yeah, probably will. Fine.
John, round 4 and the value of small hall boxing.
I just wonder if small hall boxing and fighters who campaign on the small halls, we're getting more value, and they're carrying the sport a little bit at the minute. All the good fights recently have been between fighters who operate on the small halls. Even look at last weekend, we had Cain Gardner, Conor Walker, Brian's fight with Rhys Edwards, James Moorcroft, Nathan Bennett, Andrew Cain coming through against Baluta. And I just think the big names in the sport at the minute, they're letting us down a little bit. You know, if they don't want to take risks unless it's for big money, we're only fighting once or twice a year. The arenas aren't filling up because I think people are getting sick of it. And I just think we're getting more value for money. I think the fighters from the small hall circuit are giving us better entertainment. And I just think they're carrying the sport a little bit at the moment. There's been a big resurgence. Look at the VIP show we had last week where we had the final of a little tournament and we had Joe Howarth putting it on the line against another unbeaten kid in Josh
Rizard Levicki and Robbie Chapman, Dooley Gala and Carter. The first female fight was incredible.
I just think we're getting good excitement, good matches, and good ambition from the small halls, and they're putting the big names to shame a little bit.
Yeah, I think it all comes down to passion.
Yeah.
and they wear the heart on the sleeve. And in a boxing fight, in a boxing match, and it gets tough, it really does come down to heart and how much you really want it. And you don't really want it more than when you've got no money and you've got to get up early and you're not getting sponsorships and you're just doing it for the love, the passion. So when it comes to the smaller shows, that is your world title shot. That is your dream. And if you do lose on one of them shows, maybe it might be over. So they give it everything. They give it their all. And the fans, they love it. They get in their money's worth.
Yeah. You know what? You talk about John, just maybe I'm going a bit off topic. I agree with you, John, what we're seeing on the small, but I think these fighters now, they're more and more inactive. And I think, look, it's doing the devil in the deep blue sea, because fighters deserve every penny they got. But some of the figures I'm hearing that Okoli and Joshua Buatsi are going to pick up now are just mind-boggling. They're mind-boggling amounts of money. They're only ever going to want to box twice a year.
Yeah.
You know,
Gary Russell
earning $2.5 grand for 10 rounds and 8 rounds.
Yeah, you know, Gary Russell Jr. just used to turn up once a year to earn his yearly wage, didn't he? And then disappear off.
I bet we don't see Buatsi. I saw someone say that Buatsi should fight 4 times this year. He's not going to, because he's earning mad money.
Doesn't have to. And then the passion goes out of it.
Yeah, and because the fans aren't seeing the fighters regularly enough, there's no connection with them. It makes it harder to sell tickets. It's an endless topic, that one.
Yeah. Round 5, Brian, your final topic, something you want to talk on, selling tickets, something you have to do regularly. Well, you didn't on Saturday, I don't think. I don't think that was putting pressure on you, but you usually do. Fire away.
Yeah, so you've got to sell tickets, you've got to hit a market, you've got to get your opponent's money in, you've got to put money in the pot, and you've got to pay yourself. And then once you pay yourself, you've got to pay your team and your manager. There's a lot that goes into it. But also, you've got to sell yourself on social media to get the interest of the fans and the family. But when it comes down to it, it's only your family who really back you anyway. They would back you on whether you're fighting down the back garden or whether you're fighting in a big arena. So when I boxed in the big arena on the big show, I thought, this is going to be easy sell. It's a big show. It's everyone likes to go away. But I ended up doing less tickets on the bigger show because it was only the people who sell tickets to anyway. No one was really bothered. It was just they just come to back me just to help me out, and I didn't have to do any tickets because I was the away fighter and it was a big show. I didn't have to do tickets, but I still done exactly the same amount of tickets I usually do. But you need the backing. It doesn't go unnoticed.
I mean, how hard would it be for you when you've got, you obviously you can't say too much about your title fight at the moment. When you've got to train, I don't know if you work in the day, sell tickets at night. What sort of pressure does that bring? Worrying that you're going to cover your opponent.
It brings a lot of pressure, and sometimes I'm putting it on social media every day, maybe three times a day. And people must be thinking, oh, here he is again, selling tickets, posting out again. All he goes on about is selling tickets, but that's all that's on your mind. You just want to cover your costs, so your fight's banked. So before you're even ready to fight, you're thinking about tickets before you're even thinking about the fight.
Brian, I imagine one of the most frustrating things for a fighter is you announce your fight, you get the text saying, "Put me down for 4, mate." And then 2 weeks before, they say, "Oh, I forgot it was that day. I've got something on." That must be one of the worst things. That.
Yeah, I think these are real. These are real, unwritten rule. Once you buy tickets and you've give the money and you can't ask for it back. No one knows that, but you can't.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny how the boxing. Because I'm going back to the 80s. In the 1980s, they never had these bumper bills But I remember when, I used to go bills in London in the 80s, Elephant and Castle on the Monday night, and the fighters would get a purse, the home fighter, and then a percentage of tickets, and that's how it worked. But I think then more people used to go to small hall boxing.
Yeah. Well, I was having a little chat the other day, and it was give them a set wage and make them all fight each other. And the fans will be more interested than the fighters will be more interested. Most title sales, and we're all excited to fight each other.
Yeah, your problem is you'll do that, but I see the problem there is journeymen don't want to come and fight for that sort of money. And a lot of the guys don't want that. Yeah, you're going to have a 50-50 for that money. You didn't have to sell a ticket. But there's an and I don't like to put any boxer. You're in a minority, I think. That's just my...
Yeah, I think I am. I think I'm a throwback.
Yeah,
I wish I weren't.
That's why Woody thinks you're going to box to your 50. Anyway, final round now, round 6. Someone who, I don't know how many tickets are sold this week. There's been a lot of dispute about it, but he's never had to worry about tickets. Anthony Joshua, he fights Jermaine Franklin. And I've been thinking a lot about this fight. I look what's said on social media about Joshua. And I just feel a bit simple. You know, whether you don't know if you disagree or not, Brian and John, I'm feeling sorry for him for the stick he's getting over this fight. He's getting on with it. Franklin to give Dillian White a decent fight, arguably deserved this decision. Over the last 3 years, he's got revenge over Ruiz, lost twice, beat Pulev, which I suppose was his easier one, had 2 horrible defeats to Usyk, and including a breakdown in the ring after the last one. And people are laying into the guy for fighting Franklin. I think it's a right move for him. He's just fought two tough fights with Usyk, the best pound for pound in the world, on the planet, and he didn't have to do that. No one else was doing it, and he's come back. The kid who he's fighting now, he's 21-0. Is that right? He's lost once, I think.
He's
lost
one his last fight. But, I think it's a right move for Joshua, and I think he's right up. He's still at the top level. He wins this, and he puts him still back in the mix, straight on the big stage.
Yeah, it's all right, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's all right fight. I thought Franklin looked like quite good to watch against White as well. You know, he's got a good style. He comes forward. He'll be ambitious. And if Joshua's fighting White, no one would be complaining. And I thought Franklin pinched it. Yeah, what's wrong with that? I think it's a good fight.
That's what I read on social media. Okay, a lot of it might be, people. Yeah, there's this thing in boxing where these days where you have to be Team Fury, Team Joshua. You've got to want the worst for everyone. When was it ever about that? I mean, I'm going back to when Eubank and Ben are at their rivalry. Okay, you'd have a pick who you wanted to win that fight. But when Eubank or Ben boxed, you'd want them both to win. When Lewis and Bruno boxed, you'd want them both to win. Now, Fury fans want Joshua to get chinned, and Joshua fans want Fury to get chinned.
I think they both need to win, and they both need to face each other before they finish their careers. And then everyone's happy. The fans are made up if that fight happens. So, yeah, both of them win, keep winning, and face each other, and everyone's a winner.
I would love Joshua to fight 4 or 5 times a year against people like Franklin and Hrgovic and stuff like that. It'd be brilliant. That's what we're missing. We need these fighters to fight more often. I don't see anything wrong with it at all. I think it'd probably be quite a good fight to watch. 4 or 5 rounds, and on we go to the next one. There's nothing wrong with it.
Joshua's keeping his profile there. People will talk about him and Fury again afterwards. Fury will come out on Monday saying, I'm not fighting the big dosser ever. And on Thursday, it'll be show me the money. And the following Monday, it's going to be, I'll fight you for nothing.
Yeah. It will be. It's time.
Fellas, it's been a pleasure having you both on. Brian, thank you. On just 48 hours after your last fight. John, I know you've had a really mad day today at work, and you go and put your feet up now. And you have a couple of weeks off before you get back to that gym. I know Woody thinks this boxing is, you're just at it all the time, he tells me.
I am. I'm probably back tomorrow. But, mate, I don't know. Maybe I'm not. I don't know. Right now, I'm just going to have some food.
Did you get any injuries, Brian? Are you all right? Your hand's all right?
No, hands are all right. A few black eyes, but it comes with the job. You can't go swimming and not get wet, so we got there. I'm not hurt. That's all. I'm fresh.
Brian, you've been a great guest. John, thanks as always. Thanks everyone for listening. And
thanks for having me.
Everyone who's watching has enjoyed listening to Brian this week and give us some insight on his life as a boxer. Thanks very much, everybody.
For all boxing
info, news and latest interviews, amateur and pro, across the north, click and subscribe. VIP Boxing Promotions. Also, Twitter, Instagram and Facebook.